Which La Liga players should join your favorite Premier League club? Let's talk about that. Hey everyone, it is Finia, that is FYNN, and I hope you guys are all doing super well. As you can see, I'm fairly cold, so I hope you guys are doing a bit better than me, you're a bit warmer than me. And in today's video, we will be looking at all 20 teams in the Premier League, from the top club, Liverpool, all the way to the bottom, Norwich. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption. Just wanted to mention this is only going to be the bottom 10 teams on the Premier League table, from Norwich to Crystal Palace, and then I'll do Burnley to Liverpool in a part 2 of the series. So I hope you still end up enjoying it, and press the like button if you do. And we'll be looking at which Spanish league player, which La Liga player would be the best suited for each Premier League club, what would be the most realistic buy or transfer for each Premier League club. Now, before I get too much further into that, thank you guys for all support on this channel lately. It has been crazy. So I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, getting close and close every day. If you do enjoy football content, please do subscribe to this channel and help me along the way. It gets me one step closer every day to reaching my dream. The first team I have for you guys, or the last team on the Premier League table, is going to be 20th place Norwich, which once again, to me, that is very sad because they did so well in the championship just to go straight back down. It is sad. And obviously, looking at players that they should buy, we have to look at a player that realistically would want to go to a championship team, because Norwich, you guys are going to get relegated sadly. But what kind of player do Norwich need? Okay, attacking wise, I think they are sorted, especially if they can keep the likes of Timu Puki. I think they've got a really good midfield. Maybe they could use a few tweaks here or there, but it definitely is championship quality. They've got really good fullbacks and a really good goalkeeper. This is assuming that they can keep most of their players if they get relegated, which they probably won't. But I would say their priority should be a new centre-back. Now, which centre-back do I think would move from La Liga to a championship side? I think it would be a player by the name of Postigo, who is a 31-year-old centre-back that plays for Levante. Now, the reason I think this is a possibility is obviously 12th place in La Liga. He's not going to play in any European competition, so he doesn't have that much to lose. He's also spent his entire career in La Liga, and the part of his career where he hasn't spent in La Liga, he's played in the second division of Italian football, which shows he doesn't mind playing in the second division of a league, no matter in England. I mean, the championship is still a very good league overall. 31 years old, I mean, it's not going to be the most promising young centre-back that's going to want to move to a relegated Norwich. So I have gone for the likes of the 31-year-old. They can still get a good 2-3 years out of him. And I personally have put him here because looking at him, he's not the best defensively, but I've put him in this list because he is known for his distribution and contribution from the back. He's got a 76% pass accuracy as a centre-back, which I think is very good. And I have put him in this list not because he's a great defender, obviously I've linked him to Norwich, but because I think that he'll complement Norwich's style of play. The next team on the Premier League table in 19th place is Aston Villa. I mean, which to me is very shocking because they are such a good team. They've got great players all around the pitch, but yet, and they've also spent lots of money this season, but yet it looks like they could get relegated, which is very sad. But looking at this Aston Villa team, I mean, they've got a World Cup winning goalkeeper. They've got great players all around the pitch. Jack Grealish has had an amazing season. It's just the striker that has let them down, in my opinion. So therefore, I'll go for a new striker. And who would I go for? I'll go for Diego Aspas, the 32-year-old, which yes, sounds like a very bizarre one, but I think this is possible if Aston Villa can escape the relegation zone, which is definitely possible. So if they make this push, it can happen, because first of all, there's a huge reputation being an Aston Villa player because it is a very big club with a big history. Diego Aspas is a good striker that is very well known, which if you do not know, I think he would want to redeem himself in the Premier League, because when he played for Liverpool, he didn't really, step off the mark that he really should have. He didn't score any league goals that I'm aware of, so I think he will want to come back to the Premier League, redeem himself. Plus, he's currently in a 17th place Celta de Vigo in La Liga. He's got nothing to lose by coming to a Premier League side, or at least a championship side like Aston Villa that could get promoted next season. Once again, I think it's a good chance of redemption. 32 years old, he's past the prime of his career, and it's not like he's a bad striker. He has gotten 138 league goals for Celta de Vigo, and I think, I mean, if he works ahead of Jack Grealish, if Aston Villa can keep hold of Jack Grealish, I think that that team would be really a contender for at least mid-table. 18th place on the Premier League table is another shocker. It is Bournemouth, which I really can't believe. Eddie Howe has been at Bournemouth forever, and yet he hasn't even built a mid-table team, which is shocking. I don't know if they should get a new manager or not, But looking at them, I mean, if they can stay up, once again, like Aston Villa, I think their transfer will be possible if they really make this final push to stay up in the Premier League, which once again, very possible. It's only goal difference that is putting them in the relegation zone. Looking at Bournemouth, I mean, they are losing Harry Wilson. I did do a version of this video where I said which Bundesliga player every Premier League team should buy, which, by the way, check that up in the eye thingy up above. But I did mention a right midfielder for Bournemouth because they will lose Harry Wilson probably because he will end his loan, go back to Liverpool. But you know what? I'm going to name a centre-back this time around for Bournemouth. Because looking at the likes of Bournemouth, I mean, they did so well 2-3 seasons ago attacking-wise. When Fraser was on top form, some of the other midfielders and their attack was really doing super well. I think they just need to try and sort themselves out and they will be solid. I don't actually think they need to buy anyone else in attack. Therefore, I'd go for centre-back because when Nathan Aka was injured in the centre-back position, they fell heavily. We cannot deny that as people who have watched Bournemouth. And the problem is if they get relegated, they will lose Nathan Aka because he is a really good class centre-back that still has over half a decade of his career left at a high level. Now, who would I go for in the centre-back position? This is going to be a weird one, but I'll go for Murillo, also a Celta de Vigo player. He is only on loan at the moment from Sampdoria, so therefore Sampdoria is also a weak team, but 17th place Celta de Vigo. I mean, let's be honest, Murillo has really fallen in his career. He has played for the great likes of Barcelona, Inter Milan, but I mean, 28 years old, he's not getting any younger, but as a centre-back, he could still get a good half a decade at a club, and that's why I think he should move to a team like Bournemouth, because Bournemouth only need one more really good centre-back, in my opinion, to contend for a, mid-table position once again. 17th place Watford is next, which I have been very impressed by Watford this season, considering they only got 1 or 2 wins by the half point of the season. One versus my beloved Manchester United, sadly. They were still the team to stop Liverpool's, unbeaten run, which was very surprising. And to be honest, I don't know if I'd say I'll get a new striker or attackers or midfielders for Watford, although Deeney, I think, still has a good season or 2 left. I've seen some incredible plays from their attack, and I think they have potential to be very promising. I think Foster in the goalkeeper position is a very good goalkeeper. Therefore, I would go for a new centre-back. Now, who is the centre-back I'm going for? It is going to be a weird one. Once again, with the team so low on the table, I can't go for the most promising young player. I'm going for 29-year-old Mangala, which, yes, another Premier League return, just like Iago Aspas. Mangala, if you did not know, is a Manchester City player, or at least used to be, moved to Valencia, who at the time of recording, 7th place on the Liga table. It's not totally bad, but Mangala, 29 years old, he's had over 50 appearances for Man City, over 50 appearances for the likes of Porto, which is a very comfortable career in general, but 29 years old, he still has pretty much half a decade. I mean, I say that quite a lot, don't I? His career left, and I think moving to a team like Watford would be very beneficial to both him and to the likes of Watford, because he's only gotten 4 appearances for Valencia, and there are at least 2 better centre-backs at Valencia compared to Mangala. I think he should make this Premier League return. Next team is going to be West Ham, which once again, like many of these teams, very disappointing because it is a team that has lots of financial backing. They put a lot of money in it. It is a very quality team if you look at the players overall. But if I could improve one thing about West Ham, I'd get them a new right back because I do think it is a very quality team. Zabaleta obviously is moving on a tiny bit. He is getting very old. So I would go for a new right back, and it is going to be a player by the name of Ander Kappa. He plays for Atletico Bilbao, who are currently 10th in La Liga, which is not a bad standing whatsoever. He is currently 28 years old, and the reason I think Atletico Bilbao would maybe give him away is because they do have another right back, a good quality right back. So there is still hope that they could maybe want to sell him. Along with that, no matter what his price cap is, let's be honest, West Ham have got good financial backing, and I think Ander Kappa would really probably want to move to the Premier League. Once again, he is that kind of player. If he was in the squad, I mean, I think West Ham would then just finally be a full squad with quality players all around the pitch. At right back position, Kappa has gotten 2 goals and 4 assists this season, and he can play in the right wing position. A player like that with so much versatility could really contribute a lot to this West Ham team. 15th place on the Premier League table is going to be Brighton, another team that I really do like. I think they've got a lot of potential to them. Lots of people didn't really rate them this season, and I think they really have proven that they have quite a lot, especially in the beginning of this Premier League season. And the player I've gone for is a player by the likes of Melendo. Melendo is currently a 22-year-old right mid from the likes of Espanyol. Espanyol are currently 20th in the Liga. They probably will get relegated. Now, 22-year-old right midfielder sounds like a really good thing for Brighton. Once again, he's not known for his goals and assists. Otherwise, Espanyol wouldn't be so low down on the table. Now, the reason, look, this is a very odd one, I will admit this. The reason I think he would be a really good option to buy for Brighton is he does have 82% passing accuracy. He has won 22 fouls so far this season. So he is very good at winning fouls. He is very good when it comes to his general attacking overall. And I have chosen him for Brighton because, well, 22 years old. You can get a good 10 years out of a player like this. But he really will help Brighton's counter attack style of play. That's what I'm going for because Brighton have good players all over the pitch. It really is that right midfield position, in my opinion, that is weak, and counter attacking is what they do best. Therefore, I think a player that is very good with passing, very young, Melindo, I think he could be the man for Brighton. 15th place on the Premier League table is going to be Southampton, which does come as a surprise to me and I'm sure a few other people, considering how poorly they started off this Premier League season, along with the fact they obviously got that huge 9-0 loss to Leicester City. You would assume there was no hope for them. But to be 100% honest, I think they just underperformed in the beginning of the season. That is it. I do think they have a quality team. I think if Danny Ings does in following seasons what he's done this season for Southampton, I think they've got themselves a proper Premier League striker for like another 4 years or so. I think they've got okay midfielders and okay defense. I wouldn't say that's their main priority. If anything, I would say maybe a new goalkeeper, because they do have some really good young goalkeepers to rise. So maybe I'll go for a bit of an older goalkeeper, 31-year-old Jordi Masip from Real Valladolid. Now, the reason I have gone for him is, once again, so other goalkeepers can improve over time while he's the main man. It's not like he's not a proven goalkeeper. He has played for the likes of Barcelona, but didn't really get that chance because obviously he was like the understudy to Claudio Bravo, to Ter Stegen, any really good goalkeeper. So he didn't really get his chance at Barcelona. And the reason I think he really is a good goalkeeper is they are currently 15th on the Liga table, Real Valladolid, and he's not a bad goalkeeper at all. 69 saves this season. Haha, I know, relax. 8 clean sheets in this La Liga season so far, which is the exact same amount as Ter Stegen, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So he's not a bad goalkeeper by any means, and I think he deserves a shot in the Premier League. 13th place on the Premier League table is Newcastle United, which many people really assume they'll do horribly this season. And with this whole thing, with this huge financial buyover happening, I mean, if that officially happens, then I guess they could just buy literally anyone in the world. I might as well just write Ronaldo and Messi up front for them. But if I look at Newcastle this season, realistically, I would say the striker was the main problem. I think St. Maximin did underperform, but he would have performed better if there was a better striker up front. Of course, his assists weren't the highest, but let's be honest, it's hard to paint a house if there's no house. That one's going in my notebook. But yeah, I would go for a striker for the likes of Newcastle United. And who would I go for? I think this is a very solid option, and I'm proud of this one. I would go for the likes of Paco Alcacer from Villarreal. Now, the reason I would go for him is I think he's such an incredible striker. Currently 26 years old. He is younger than Jesse Lingard, guys. That hurts me. But I think he genuinely does deserve a chance. He's played at the likes of Valencia, Barcelona, and he really did show that he is a great striker when he was at Borussia Dortmund. 18 goals in 26 games, and yet he's still not seen as a world-class striker. He deserves his chance, and if he moved to a team like Newcastle United, he, in my opinion, would be one of the deadliest strikers in the league. 12th place on the Premier League table is Everton, which once again, very surprising because it is a really good team that does seem to underperform. Of course, Marco Silva did not do well with them in the beginning of the season. Ancelotti has struggled a tiny bit. It is a team that really should do better than what they are currently doing. But I do think it is a really good, really quality team. Now, in the Bundesliga video, I suggested that they would get a new centre-back. But lots of Everton fans seem to come at me saying they would prefer a new right midfielder because Theo Walcott is not the man he used to be when he did play at the likes of Arsenal. I would go for a new right midfielder, and I would go for the likes of Correa, which I know that sounds like quite a big one, but the reason I think he'll do so well at Everton, or the reason he would want to move to Everton, is, let's be honest, I think lots of players would definitely find it just a dream to play under the likes of Carlo Ancelotti, one of the best managers in the world. Correa is only 25 years old, and Atletico Madrid did not have a good season this season. At the time of recording, they are currently 6th on the La Liga table, which you really do expect them to compete for the title almost. Correa is currently 25 years old, 5 goals and 6 assists this season. that is something that could be seen as very useful at Everton, especially with the likes of Richarlison or the likes of Calvert-Lewin up front. I think they could get a lot of goals. And I mean, I do think Everton are really good when it comes to their set pieces, which I mean 28 fouls conceded this season. They could get a lot more, free kick attempts and everything. I do think Correa would add a lot to this Everton team. Final team of this video, the team in 11th place on the Premier League table is Crystal Palace, which by the way, guys, please do like this video if you do want the part 2 with all the other teams in it. But for Crystal Palace, if you look at this team in total, I've seen a lot of people really praise their goalkeeper. I think they've got an okay defense. Midfield-wise, it's not too bad. Maybe it could use some work. I think Zaha really does need to step up attacking-wise. Ayu's had an okay season. At the end of the day, I think Crystal Palace really could use improvements all over. But if I could go for anything, I would go for a left wing. Now, the left wing I've gone for is going to be the player by the name of McKees. I think that's how you pronounce it. Let's be honest, I'm not going to pronounce anything right in this entire video. But the current 27-year-old left winger from Granada, he's had a great season so far. 6 goals, 3 assists. And if you look at Crystal Palace overall, Schlupp is really the only other left midfielder option, which isn't promising considering he's only gotten 2 goals and 1 assist. They need someone else contributing to better this team overall. That's why I think McKees would be a really solid option. And at the end of the day, Granada has not had the best season overall. Currently 9th place, so I mean, it's okay, but I definitely do think he would be willing to make that move to the Premier League. So guys, that is it for the first 10 teams. If you want to see the other 10 teams, obviously do leave a like on this video. That will be coming out very, very soon. Please do subscribe if you are not subscribed and you did enjoy this content. And do follow Fincraft's Football, as I do post 1-minute snippets of each video I do so that you guys can decide whether you want to watch the video or not. Of course, as I said, you enjoyed, do like and subscribe. I do love every single one of you. This has been Finn, FYNN. Cheers.